Jeez, now I'm gonna have to memorize which way. Okay,
I
so
know.
hello, we are live. We are live. Welcome once again to a Smudgeon of Curmudgeon. I am Bill Adams. This is my buddy over here on this side. I got it right this time, Mr. Dewey Conway. We are the Smudgeons
Hello.
of Curmudgeons, and we are here today with Amber Toro, a lovely indie writer who writes science fiction with a little bit of fantasy, a little bit of romance, a little bit of all that good stuff. So, Amber, welcome. Thank you for joining us. Please give us your pitch. Tell us who you are. Tell us what you write, and have the floor.
All right, thank you for having me. I'm Amber Toro, and my debut is Umbra. It is a space opera spin on romantasy. It's set 10,000 years in the future after humanity left Earth, in a time where pilots are bonded with their sentient starships for life, and a signal in the void threatens to destroy everything. This is my main series, Sentient Stars. It is space opera. It is a lot of the nostalgic sci-fi feels. It gets compared to Battlestar Galactica, The Expanse, Star Wars. So it's a lot of that kind of vibe, but with a strong romantic subplot.
Yeah, I'd say so in this one. No, I like your distress signal going to blow everything up spiel, because that's basically the underlying theme of it. So Dewey has the way we usually do it is one of us typically reads the book, the other one does not. Usually it's me that reads it. I don't want to call Dewey out that way, but
No, I'll call myself out. Bill is the reader. I'm just the pretty face on the screen.
you are pretty face with that beautiful beard. We can't complain.
Oh, I'm joking. But anyhow, yeah, Bill. So he'll read the book, and then a lot of the show is me learning about, because I love this. I love I feel like the indie book community is an immersive experience. This is one more dynamic of that, and so that's what part of this interview is about as well, is teaching me about the book, teaching me about why, and hopefully anyone who's watching can participate in that experience as well. As like, oh, I should go pick this up and
Well,
check
you
it out.
should, because I read it and it's really, really bloody good. So go ahead and pick up Umbra.
Well, and that's the thing, is you just said it's got compared to Battlestar Galactica a little bit, because I'm a huge fan of new and old
Yeah,
Battlestar.
no, it definitely has those vibes. It has like sentient AI. I would say Skyla is a little bit Starbuck-like, but nicer, because she's an ace pilot. So yeah, it definitely has some of those vibes.
Wow. So, Bill, do
Well,
we want to start
let's
off
do
with
our gimmick, as I just called it, and offended you.
No, you didn't offend me. It's an actual catharsis of the day, because I've had a long day. Let me go ahead and share my screen.
Hey, Mike.
Hey, we got people showing up. It's really awesome. Alrighty, here we go.
So
you should
just
see my
it up
screen
and
here.
said, oh no, this is
Alrighty, so we have a curmudgeon scale, and what this is here you are, here's Bill, here's me. These are little pogs, and we get to move them around onto the scale, rating our current level of curmudgeonness. And for me, a curmudgeon means someone who's just kind of done with things and doesn't want to deal with anything. And that would be a level 10, is like, I'm done, completely done. A 0 would be like, I'm okay with life, I guess. So I'm going to kind of shake it up. Bill, I want you to start. Where are you?
You want me to start? Okay.
Yeah. That way Amber can kind of
I can hear my goblin
see the
running
mood
around upstairs right now when he should be sleeping. So I'm going to go with like an 8.
Okay.
He's like upstairs singing what's this? The Espresso song, that Sabrina Carpenter one. He's like not even 4 years old, and that's like his favorite song. And I'm just like, oh my god, stop with the Sabrina Carpenter.
Wow. That's funny.
Go to bed.
Okay. All right. You're an 8. Remember that number. You're an 8. Okay. Amber, do you feel comfortable rating yourself?
I think you might have it about right. Maybe a 3 because it's midweek, right? So kind of tired. A lot of work, but we're knocking projects out. And tomorrow's my 1 year pub anniversary. So I feel like I have to be in a pretty
Oh,
good mood. Yeah.
yay! All right. Well, three is a pretty good mood. I'll take that. And I'm having a good day now. I wasn't, but I am. Because work is over. I'm gonna rate myself at like a 7, Bill.
So I have to carry the team here, Dewey.
Yes,
It's
you're gonna.
not usually how this works.
I know, but I'm in a good mood. So I'm putting myself at a 7. So remember your numbers. So Bill, you're an 8. I'm a 7, and Amber, you're a 3. So what we gotta do next is, because of that, we are going to find our name tagline. So for me, I'm a 7, right? So I'm Count Krabby Cakes. And so I'm going to put Dewey Conway Count Krabby Cakes in my edit name headline. So you'll see what I'm talking about. Right now, Bill has Beard
So
Curmudgeon.
this is new, Amber. I'm just seeing this for the first time too. So
Let's see.
what's going on?
So Bill is Baron Bah Humbug. So gloom, despair, and agony on me. That's your number 8.
Baron.
And Amber, you're a grumblebee. You're buzzing, you're judging, but you're buzzing along. So, all right. So if you want to, you don't totally have to, but if you want to, but add that to your headline. And
We are professionals, everybody. Don't worry. We are professionals here.
Yes, we have rated ourselves officially.
Amber's
And
thinking in the back of her head, like, what did I sign up for? Why did I agree to this?
I don't know. Grumblebee's pretty cute. I'll take it.
yeah, that was a fun one to come up with. So I am Count Krabby Pants, Krabby Cakes. Bill, you're Baron Bob. Oh, I came up with these after a particularly long meeting today, and
oh God, So a couple weeks ago, we almost lost Dewey to a Fourth Wing reference and a gummy bear, and now you're about to lose me to Dewey's new taglines. Oh, good God. Okay, let's get serious. We are professionals.
I have a whole production crew right over here.
So
like off screen, they've got the little knobs and
everything. So, well, congratulations, though, Amber. 1 year anniversary. How does that feel? Do we bring the book back up? Let's show everybody again. 1 year. Can you bring that back up?
Yes,
Umbra.
There we go.
Umbra.
It's crazy. It was a couple days ago that I realized it was coming up, and I might have missed it because it kind of just flies by. So I couldn't really believe it'd been out for a year.
It really does go kind of fast, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's amazing how fast it goes.
Yeah, it's crazy. But yeah, and the next one comes out in 1 month. So
that's we have a cover reveal that just happened with that one, and so I do have it here. And if it's okay, I'm going to go and put it up. There we go. So
God,
that's the one that's
cover.
coming. This one's coming out. What's the date for it?
May 20th.
Ooh, wow.
Yeah.
And so is it out right now to ARC readers and everything, or what are you doing?
Yeah, it's with ARC readers right now. Yeah, ARC reviews are starting to come in because it's been out for a couple weeks. But yeah, it's done, and yeah, it's coming out in a month.
So do you feel nervous? Do you feel like are you dreading that sophomore slump?
No,
or any of that stuff?
No, the feedback from beta readers was super good. This one comes in super hot from the beginning. It has kind of like the mini cliffhangers on all the opening chapters, and most people that start this one, they fly through it. So far, the feedback doesn't have me nervous at all. I'm actually really excited, especially because of where the first one leaves off. I think it'll be pretty exciting to get the rest of the story. Yeah, there's a little cliffhanger on the first one. Although if you don't read the epilogue, there's no cliffhanger. It wraps really nice if you just don't read the epilogue on the first one.
Well, I mean, it
Yeah,
is controversial to read epilogues and prologues
yeah,
and interludes and all that stuff. So we'll just shove
yeah.
that away and it'll work.
Hmm. Who knows about that? People say there's some kind of well. So when you say the book is about a sentient AI, like living with sentient, that's very timely. I mean, and we talked beforehand, and so I'm kind of familiar a little bit with, or I suspect that what is an influence for you for that being part of the book. But can you talk a little bit about the influence of or what the book is about, namely about humans living with AI and how that all came about as far as an idea?
Yeah, so yeah, the core of the idea did start with the AIs. So I'm a data scientist. I work at a machine learning startup. And so I do spend time researching and building machine learning models. And I was thinking about if we had general artificial intelligence, what would that look like? Common in this space, as far as preventing something like you see in Terminator, is the idea of having individual AIs so that in general, like people, most of them would be good. And you would have enough good ones to take care of the bad ones were they to go, Skynet on us. So that's a fairly common concept. And so I was thinking about this idea of individuals. And I was like, what if they wanted to have a life experience like their creators? And that was this idea then of bonding the AI ships. And then they live a lifespan with their bonded human. And when they die, they transmit their consciousness back to one great AI, kind of like a Nirvana type concept. So they have
Okay.
religion and they have culture, and it's based on these bonds with their pilots.
So did that idea, not just with the AI stuff, but you've read a lot of fantasy and sci-fi books. Is that kind of similar to? I mean, I know the answer, but did it kind of talking weapon, like sentient weapon type thing, come to mind when you were writing that, or is it just happenstance?
I don't know the reference.
So, like there's a bunch of fantasy books. Like we'll pick Brandon Sanderson's Warbreaker has talking swords. Uh,
Um, I haven't
so
read a
guess
ton
not.
of ones that have talking weapons. I'm trying to think if I've read any. So no, it was not a
The answer
thought.
no.
Um, yeah. I had this idea a few years ago, like several years ago, and then I did read Skyward, and I was like, oh my gosh, Brendan Sanderson has a like sentient AI. I should probably write this sooner than later because this is not like novel. Um, so I hadn't read a lot of it. I know it exists, but I hadn't seen a lot of it.
Okay. Yeah, I
And
was just curious.
going off of that, what are your references? Because AI is a big sci-fi concept that's been around forever with
Yeah.
Arthur C. Clarke and those types of authors that have really influenced the field. Like, do you have those types of influences? Like, is that part of your background? What besides
I
your
actually
work,
went
what drew you to it? Okay, go
Yeah,
ahead.
I went maybe a little bit more on the side of my work. So while I was writing it, I read a book called, I think it was called AI 2041, which was pretty cool. It was a team up between an actual AI researcher and a sci-fi writer. And it's a collection of short stories, sci-fi stories written based on concepts that are likely to become commonplace by 2041, and just
Oh,
kind of
wow.
different turns that could take. So I read that to try and kind of see if there was concepts that I wasn't using in work that I wanted to incorporate, or that I wanted to keep in mind. In there, they did have this one short story around how students have a like tutor, an AI tutor that is tailored to them, so assigned to them from when they're a kid, and they always work with them and like know how best to teach the kid. So that is maybe somewhat similar to my AIs, right? Because they have this lifelong kind of connection with the kid. And I know there was one talking about some of these adversarial networks and distorting the face and deep fakes, and so some of that is also in Umbra as well.
Okay. That was going to be one of my questions because I haven't read the book, full disclosure, but this sounds absolutely fascinating. The AI, right now, if we look at like ChatGPT and those kinds of generative AI things, it's just all online and we just type. It doesn't have a face or any kind of real human interface. in your book, what is the interface? Like, are they robots? Are they screens? What
Oh yeah,
can
they're
you?
super cool. They're starships. And they are bioorganic, or they're bioships. So they are a coral titanium nanite shell. When they bond when they're little, they're drones, and they grow and they remodel with their bonded hosts. And so that's why the ships are different, because they grow and accommodates to
Oh, okay.
the pilot. So yeah, they're ships, and then they do have neural connections where they can then insert into the pilot's nervous system, like the spinal column, and they can basically share a mind when they're connected like that.
Oh, wow. Okay, yeah.
So
You're
we got
smiling,
a
Bill.
hard-hitting question we have to ask from Mr. Steele. So rank these three by coolness.
Why are you always trying to get me to rank things? Like your novella versus Tim's. I don't think you wanted me to answer that.
And he says, if Tim's not first, I'm leaving. So put Tim last, and then we'll get him out of the chat, and it won't be so hard-hitting at this point.
I don't care. I can be last. I don't care.
Oh, I
Tim's
definitely
an
will
awesome
not be
guy.
ranking.
Thank you. Tim is an awesome guy. Well, speaking of hard-hitting questions, Bill,
Bring up the question wheel.
again, this is why what we're famous for.
Yes, so famous.
Famous. There's like 6 people that know about this. So
And there are 6 people are watching right now.
so this is how it works. We have 6 questions here. Bill sends me the questions. I put them together, and we have a spinning wheel. And when I spin the wheel, it lands on a number. We ask that question. I always forget what the question is, so it's kind of a surprise for me too. However, if it lands on the old man here, that means you get to ask us a question. If you want, just you can also say I decline. I don't, which I'm okay with that. But
Or you can just make fun of ZB and go on your.
no, we don't want to make fun of him. He's fine. He's the King Dark. Wait, Grimdark. That's a Grimdark King. Anyway, let's go. We're gonna spin it and see where we go. Oh no!
Yes. Okay. Are dragons overrated?
Oh. I'll let Bill answer that one first.
That's going to be a hot take. Okay, let's put it this way. I will say dragon riders are overrated, but dragons are not.
Yeah, I was going to say that wasn't the question. The question was,
I know, but I'm throwing a loophole here because it's my show and I can do what I want. No, I would not say it's overrated, but I will say it's overused. And as that's coming from somebody who has dragons on their cover and is big old dragon behind my head.
And then, of course, your latest book, Lady Drakeslayer, with the huge dragon on the front.
As I said, I write dragons in my book. What can I say?
Oh my gosh, that's
following
a
the
great
trends. That's a good. Thank you for asking a hard question because
I was just going to say they're all right.
Yeah,
they're all right.
Yeah, I mean, my favorite Smaug from The Hobbit. Sorry, that's my favorite dragon because that was the first one I was exposed to, and that's fine. They're all like. All right, so I guess that, and I honestly believe that. Let's spin the wheel and see one more question.
Now we don't have to worry about that anymore, do we?
Yeah, now I can relax, right? Oh, well, we got number 5. Yay! Okay, number 5. We got the axe. Kiss, marry, eject into deep space. Malcolm Mal Reynolds from Firefly, Han Solo, or Captain Picard. Do you know these guys, right?
This is hard. Yeah.
Oops, sorry.
Kiss Han Solo, marry Mal, eject Picard.
Oh,
Controversy.
make it so.
Controversy.
Wow. Oh, I see in the, let's see, what did Mike say here? Kiss Mal, marry Picard, kick Solo. Yeah. I don't know, man. I don't know. I mean, I agree with the Mal one. Kiss him out. That's fine. So, what do you think, Bill? What would you do?
I would probably flip Picard and Solo. I mean, Picard is just so handsome, and the first beginning of New Next Gen, where he's still got the hair, like he just looks so distinguished.
Really?
Yeah, come on now.
He's distinguished. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. He's distinguished.
Classy.
I would give that word to him. Distinguished. Yeah, classy, distinguished. So he's not like Kirk. All right.
Roll another one, Dewey. Roll another one.
Are you sure? Okay. Let's do one more, and then we'll get back to the serious discussions here. Oh, 6. The Candelabra. If you could write Skyla into any fanfic universe, which would you choose and why?
I don't know.
Good answer.
Fanfic is not like something I'm super familiar with, so I don't know.
So
What are how about options?
So like people write fan fiction about like Star Wars. Like they'll write their own Star Wars stories, and they're not like considered canon or something. So if you can write Skyla into any
I think you'd have fun in the Firefly universe. Yeah, she'd have fun there.
I think she'd fit pretty perfectly. Thank you, Mike. Thanks for coming. Good to see you. Yeah, don't lose your mind. We need that. Keep on fighting the good fight on Twitter.
Oh, gosh, let's not bring up. Okay, there we go. All righty. Well, then we have 4 questions left, but we're going to save them. Let me remove the thingy here. So Umber's been out a year. Is that your first book?
It is my first book. It's my first novel I ever wrote, and I decided to publish it. So yeah, it's the first.
Oh wow!
Did you try querying it before, or just go indie? Did you try to query, or did you go indies from the beginning?
I have not tried querying. I might try my next project. No.
No,
I was afraid to.
Querying is not fun.
Yeah, I'd heard some kind of horror stories, and I didn't want anything to happen to my baby. So I decided that I was the best person to publish it.
Then that's the route to go.
Yeah.
And how long have you been working on Umbra?
It took me probably about a year to draft it, and then it was probably another 6 or 9 months of editing.
That's not too bad. And you just started that right then and there, and that was it, or has this been like percolating for years, and you're like, I'm going to finally do it?
So I had the idea for several years, and my dad passed away suddenly of a heart attack, and I was like, wow, like if I went right now, what would I regret not having done? And I'd wanted to write a book since I was a kid. So, and I had this idea. So I was like, I guess I'm doing this now.
So tell me about the cover. Like that's one thing I'm always drawn to is the cover, the art. This is so it has a very new Art Nouveau-ish feel to it, except modern, of course. But did you do the cover? Did you commission for it?
No.
Like what? Okay.
That is not my skill set. So yeah, I have an amazing cover designer. His name is David. And I basically told him kind of some elements of the story and that I wanted, it was sci-fi, but I wanted it to also reflect that it had that kind of romantic subplot feel that that's like the border that he added there is to kind of capture the romance side. And then I told him I really liked the new Dune covers, like the stylized
Mm,
ones.
mhm.
And then I just let him decide what it looked like. And yeah, he did a really
Go with
awesome
it
job.
and go with that gold palette there. That's really stark, and I
Yeah,
love it. It's just
that was all
stands out.
him. Yeah, I did not pick the colors. I was like,
Oh,
he
okay.
surprised me on that one. And yeah, and I loved it.
Well, but it leads nicely into this, which is that same kind of
Yeah.
that uni or monotone palette,
So once he
which is
did that, yeah, I wanted to continue that through the series. Kind of like you see in the Red Rising original trilogy, right? Each one is just a color and black. Once
Mhm.
we did that with the first one, I thought it'd probably look best if we did that through the series.
And it's a
fantastic.
trilogy, or is it going to be more than 3?
So it's supposed to be a trilogy. It's going to be 4. Because when I was writing book 2, I realized I'd opened up so many threads that the only way to close them all would be to make book 2 and 3 really long, or to make it 4 books, which I thought was a better solution.
Well, I mean, with the success you're seeing with Umbra, I'm sure your readers are probably very happy with that decision.
And I'm not so familiar with the sci-fi romance genre. Like, is that where you would place this book, right? Inside of
It's hard because a lot of the sci-fi romance tends to lean, I think, more towards like aliens and more romance. It is a space opera. If like I had to
okay,
put it in a category, it is a space opera with a strong romantic subplot, which is why I compare it to romantasy. A lot of romantasy is fantasy with a strong romantic subplot.
gotcha.
Um, yeah, so it which makes marketing it tricky and placing it tricky. But
Do they
Yeah,
have like an official term for sci-fi romance, like romantasy? It
the
doesn't really.
one that I lean into is romantasci, and I capitalize the
Oh,
SCI. That one's my favorite. We'll see which way it goes. There's a hashtag. It's not super big, so we'll find out.
but it's got undertones of romantasy, so it's not like a full on or romance. It's not a full on romance. It's a space opera, like you were saying. So is it
Yeah.
like a slow? It's a slow burn, or is it like
Yep.
okay?
Yeah.
That's
It's a slow burn.
That's pretty cool. So I was reading a little bit about this just beforehand, just to familiarize myself with your book, and you're getting great reviews on Goodreads. That's got to be very satisfying. But one of the things I noticed was something about the United Tribal Axis. Like, is that what's all that about? Like, can
Yeah.
because
Sure.
that just
That's the
sounds so cool to
government.
me. Okay,
Yeah, that's the government system. It's United Tribal Access. It's about 100 years old. It's only about 100 years that the 12 tribes of humanity have come back together after wandering
hmm.
the galaxies for, 10,000 years in separate tribes. The tribes are based on at least current when I wrote the story, current space budgets. So that's how I decided, basically probably whoever has the most space dollars right now would be able to build the most ships if we were to leave Earth right now.
okay. That's
Oh,
Yeah, the 12 tribes. So that's a biblical thing too. Like
You are the first person to catch that. Yeah, it is. That's why there's 12.
okay. Well, I was going to ask if it was coincidence, but okay, so that was an influence there because the 12 tribes of Israel
Yep.
going out and finding their way. That's really awesome. That's also leaning into, some of the other sci-fi that's out there. That's I think that's a cool concept. Uh, so do you want to Bill, do you want to ask some more questions or do you want to go into the question time? What do you feel like?
yeah. Let's go. Let's roll a couple more of the questions.
All right, are you sure? Because
Yes.
we got a big question somewhere in there. Let's see.
Yeah, I wrote a hypothetical question that you have to answer, and Dewey claimed that it's a novella because it's quite long. So it probably
I
doesn't
had
fit
I
in
had to adjust I had to adjust my font size. Okay, so here we go. Here we go. Let's spin it. Let's see what's going on here. Oh, it's number one. Number
It's not this
one.
one.
It's the goblet. If you were to go into if you were to go into the United Tribal Axis Navy, the Book Space Academy, which route or role would you take?
So the character that's most similar to me is Skyla. So yeah, I would want to be a pilot.
And you want to be a loner out there just with you and your ship and
Yeah,
Fenrir.
definitely. Yep.
I read that she was uh, an archaeologist. Am I reading that right? Or like,
Yeah. So she leaves the Navy and then she is an alien tech salvager. So an archaeologist, they're not
oh,
supposed to go beyond the boundaries of known space, and they're not supposed to go and salvage this tech. It technically is owned by the UTA. So that's where she is a little bit of a rogue, a little bit of an outlaw, because she kind of walks that line.
okay.
But yeah,
Oh, that's cool. So
yeah.
she what that leads into the whole aliens thing. So there's aliens in this. Like, are
Maybe.
they? Oh, okay.
We don't know.
All
So
right. All
in
right.
the culture, it is frowned upon to believe in aliens because they have traveled so far across the galaxies and never encountered them. The scientific community doesn't believe they exist, except one character, Dr. Rohan Dar, who's Skylar's best friend. He does believe they exist, and he listens for signals trying to prove his theories.
Huh. I mean, because that's a theory now in real world science is like the likelihood of aliens existing is pretty low, but or at least ones that we would recognize. Maybe it's pretty low. So I think that's a great. That's
Exactly,
that's
Tim. Space jellies on the cover.
all right. Number two. I don't think this is it, Bill. Okay. Let's ask you. This is the Queen's crown. Oh, well, there you go. Do you believe in extraterrestrial life? And if so, have you had any UFO encounters?
So I do believe it's statistically likely, given the size of the universe. Um, I have not had any UFO encounters personally.
Oh, darn.
Do you wish you had?
No, absolutely not.
Wow. Yeah. That's a funny question, Bill. Because we talk about UFOs also, him and I, sometimes, and this is the one thing that we think would exist potentially, uh, versus like ghost and things. We think UFOs.
Yeah, I'm a full-on believer in aliens versus ghosts. Ghosts, no.
Yeah.
Is it one or the other? It can't be both.
Well, it could be theoretically, but I just don't believe in ghosts.
Well, I think it's both personally, and I think also there's a theory out there that UFOs and extraterrestrials are actually intra-dimensional and not extraterrestrial.
Yeah,
And so there's that concept as well.
I think that's fairly likely as well. Right. I think there's
Right?
decent support that it could go that way.
We
It
need to
could.
get Dewey to put his hair up and that one weird guy that was on the UFO channel all the time.
Giorgio Tsoukalos. His name is Giorgio Tsoukalos.
The fact that you know that is just fantastic.
What?
I just know him from the memes.
Yeah, aliens. Yeah, he's a student of, oh gosh, what's his name that wrote Chariot of the Gods. Anyway, yeah, he's a big UFO dude, but I think he's sold out, to be honest. All right, let's get back to the book then, or get back to writing, or just some other things there. Bill, do you have any questions about? Because I want to ask a question about AI, but
Do it. No, I want to hear about the AI
go
stuff.
first. Okay, so like the generative AI that exists today, like ChatGPT, I want to get your opinion. I've recently, whenever I've pulled up ChatGPT before, and I've asked it things like, um, you know, how do you feel today? Or what I try to evoke emotions and ask it, can you feel? Are you sad? Can you miss me and things? And it says I can emulate that. I can emulate that emotion. In your book, are they actual sentient emotions, or are they emulations, like with the AI?
Yeah, Yeah, that's a really good point. So, I mean, yes, check, we're pretty far, well, I don't know how far we are, but what we have right now is not general artificial intelligence, right?
Right.
You have to think about the algorithms and the training set. So, ChatGPT is basically just looking at everything that exists on the internet, right? And that's why it's able to answer questions so well, because it can see it's been trained on everything that's there.
Right.
I don't think there's anything in the algorithms, though, to emulate, creativity or emotion or things that we associate with sentience. That's the difference. The AIs in my book are fully sentient. That's the idea. And there's this one part that I thought was kind of fun. So Pele's hobby, that Pele is the main starship. That's Skyless starship. Pele's hobby is scent art. So she makes scents that invoke memories for her.
Mm.
And so the idea, I wanted to do something that felt different because you don't think about computers smelling, right? Like that's a very human interaction with the world.
Mhm. Mhm.
And so in this case, she has sensors and she can experience smell, and they do have a emotion and memory associated with it. So that's
Wow.
why I chose that for her, to make it feel like something that is very human versus something that is, that computers can do today.
Do you think that eventually we will have true AI, a sentient AI?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think we're even that far. If I remember right, their predictions are only like 10 years or something. I could be wrong. Yeah, I think we will. Right now, we have neural networks, right, which are
Mhm.
based on how our brains work. And so they're
Right.
algorithmically similar to how we learn. So I don't see why we couldn't come up with algorithms that are similar to the way that we function. And then it's just, it's not organic, it's synthetic.
So I guess this is a dumb question on my part, just the way you're talking the last 5 minutes. But you've done a lot of research. You did a little bit of research before going into writing this part of the book. So you could say this is more hard sci-fi as opposed to soft sci-fi, or do you just kind
So
of toe the line a little bit?
yeah, I think I toe the line. I lean soft sci-fi because I am not going to write a textbook. I don't go deep into the explanations. I also don't care about time dilation and travel. So, like, I have three pieces of travel tech that are fairly feasible, but I don't worry about the time differences. They travel the way you do in a fantasy book because it doesn't interest me. The story interests me. However, the science in it is pretty solid. I read a book on quantum mechanics. I read a book on astrophysics. And then I work in machine learning. So, and one of my beta readers is a biologist and loves the bioships, and she nerds out over what like algae they could be using for the repairs and things like that. So
Wow.
the science, for the most part, should be pretty solid. But if you read it, it is very accessible. People that come over from fantasy that are worried about reading sci-fi in general don't struggle with it. The science concepts are laid out very easy to grasp and interact with, but the underlying science should be pretty solid.
It sounds like that's the case because it's character driven.
Yeah.
The world or the world building itself is just a backdrop for
Hmm.
the characters, and that often
Yeah.
makes things simple versus Star Trek or Star Wars or things like that, where you get in the weeds of all the technical aspects of the ships and the warp fields and
Those
So
are pretty soft sci-fi too, though, because a lot of
yeah,
that
well,
stuff,
yeah,
it may not really work. Um,
yeah.
but yeah.
Thanks, Greg. Thanks for joining us. But yeah, I was gonna say when I don't read a ton of sci-fi, like space travel sci-fi, but when I read, like, easy for me to figure out what was going on. Like I didn't feel like I was in a classroom, which a lot of hard sci-fi, like you said, a textbook, that does frighten me when they get into the technical aspects. I'm like, oh God, I don't want to do this. So,
I
Well, you
personally like character-driven books. So, I mean, you nailed it. It's very character-driven. And one of the core concepts that was important to me was this idea of even 10,000 years in the future with this advanced technology, at our heart, we're still human. So
Mhm.
it's a very human story.
yeah, I would definitely say that, and I guess the ending too is very human, obviously, because they're doing a very human thing with the government stuff going on. That they're I don't want to spoil anything. I can't. I
Yeah.
don't even know where I want to
There's
go with this question because it's going to spoil everything. So like I can't do that. Let's go different route. So what made you flip the script? Because I've seen your like a bunch of your marketing, and you always continue to say that Skyla is the Han Solo, and um, is it Hinata? Is it how you pronounce it? Hinata.
yeah.
Hinata.
hmm
He is more of like I guess you would say, not really say the Princess Leia, but almost like the Princess Leia background area.
He gets compared to Prince Zuko, actually, and I got that from readers.
Oh,
But
okay.
yeah, but like redemption arc Zuko because he's an exiled, high-ranking commander and he's honorable, and he's trying to regain his honor.
So, was it always going to be the romance between these two, or was this kind of like one of those learning as you go? Like you're writing this story with Skyla, and she meets this character, and it's kind of like this is a good
Yeah,
romance.
there was always going to be the romance. One of the concepts I wanted was this conflict between one of the characters coming from a Western society and being very focused on herself, and the Hinata comes from an Eastern culture, so he's very focused on society, and so I wanted that to be a point of conflict in the relationship and that's part of one of the themes in the book, right? Of like duty versus
Mm-hmm.
the self. So
Yeah.
that I wanted that represented in the romance.
And then you had probably just watched Pacific Rim, and there was that fight scene between Charlie Hunnam's character and Mako Mori, right? And that influenced the one scene. And
Okay, I've definitely seen the movie, but I can't think of the scene.
that was when they were doing like the compatibility test where they're fighting, and you can just sense the sexual tension in the scene.
Oh, I just thought it was a fun scene.
Well, I read too much into it, as I always.
Well, we can ask the last two questions.
The novel question or novella question, as you call it, will come up.
Maybe.
Well,
it might also be number 3. See, I was right. Okay. Bag of gold. Here we go. As an AI data scientist and having it in your books, are you building Skynet?
When you said that earlier, I was just like trying not to laugh because I made that question.
And when is Judgment Day?
See, so I answered.
Yeah, you did.
We're not like
within the first
not building
minutes.
Skynet. Hopefully building. Yeah, I mean, hopefully we're building a future where that's not possible, right? Where well, and that is one of the things about this series is exploring relationships with AI. Skyla has this very close relationship with her AI. Hinata does not. That is on purpose. The idea of, culture influencing how we see and interact with AI and how we use it.
So you had mentioned earlier on about the evil, or not evil, but bad AI. Like, do you have in your series or plan to have some kind of, because that's obviously a fear now, is a fear of a Skynet or a fear of AI getting out of control. Is that built into your series about how it's really more of a synthesis of existence between AI and humans versus AI potentially taking off and controlling humans? Like,
I think we do. Yeah, we definitely do explore. I mean, we explore the relationship between humans and AI, and also I can't say more.
Okay, all right, yeah. Well, that's good. I mean,
Rayfo, read and find out.
Oh, I don't like that word.
Why?
Rayfo, because then I have to read and find out.
Yeah, then you would have to read.
Here we go. Well, I have to read now. Which is more heartbreaking to you? While on a bike ride, you come up with the greatest book plot ever, but immediately forget it after you finish because it was very strenuous and you're tired. Or you figure out a major plot hole while biking, but you fall down a hill. You're not injured. And your bike is absolutely total beyond repair.
Did you know that I'm a cyclist? Is that where this question came from?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Well, the second one would be more heartbreaking. I never forget. I barely take notes, and I come up with most of my ideas either running or biking. So the first one wouldn't happen.
So the first one wouldn't happen.
Okay, so you'd be more sad about your bike.
Oh yeah.
Well, that was the question. Let me go back. I think
That
we're
was my
done.
novella of a question.
Yes,
Good answer.
it was a good answer.
So
For sure.
you've hinted at it, but tell us what this other project you're working on. 'Cause
Yeah. So my other project is a enemies to lovers dragon whip. That's why I asked you about dragons. I obviously don't think they're overrated. They're the best. But yeah, it's fully drafted. I'm editing it right now. It's really fun. It is kind of like Dragon Riders of Pern meets Skyward. People live in cavern cities underground
Oh,
because dangerous dragons rule the skies. Um, and the magic that sustains them underground is dying. So the main character is going to have to team up with her mortal enemy to go and try and find these mythical hatching grounds to get dragons of their own.
so 2 or 4 leg.
Well, I
What's
mean,
the
two
leg?
legs is a wyvern and four legs is a dragon.
Accurate. Accurate. So you say you're editing. Do you have a release date in mind? You still kind of thinking that out?
No, yeah. So Ascension Stars is my focus as far as releasing. So staying on track with getting a book out each year to finish that series.
Mhm.
This is like my fun side project. So right now I am drafting book 3 and editing this whip. So I just kind of alternate. I'll draft one and edit the other.
oh, when do you find time? You've got a full-time job, and
I do that after the kids go to sleep. So
okay.
yeah.
Yeah, that's
Again, the question becomes, how do you find the time and energy?
yeah. It's usually lack of
Uh,
energy at that point. You're like, oh,
a lot of times if I'm tired, if I just get out the laptop and try, it'll be there, right? Unless I'm super tired and then it doesn't happen. But yeah, I'm a bit like I kind of treat it the same way I treat training, right? Like you may not feel like going for a run or going for a bike ride, but if you
hmm.
go out, usually you actually do have the energy. And so I applied that concept to writing and it's worked pretty well.
You know how they
Awesome.
have like those treadmills you could put under your desk? Have you ever
I
thought
need to
about
get
putting
one.
do you have a treadmill under your desk?
No, but I have tried editing on the treadmill at the gym and I get really like seasick.
Well, what I was gonna say,
Oh,
have you ever thought about doing like a cycle underneath it? Not like the little small ones. I
Oh
used to have
yeah.
one of those chintzy ones, but like an actual cycle on there? No? Like a Peloton
No,
underneath it?
that would be so awkward. I guess you could.
Mm,
I attend a gazillion Zoom meetings, and in my meetings, there's always a few people that are doing this.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm like, what are you doing? Stop. I know you're walking, but stop. It's very distracting.
You know what? It was funny because I thought about doing that during these interviews just to be funny.
Yeah.
Go off.
Yeah, and as far as like a bike goes under your desk, yeah, I don't. Those are kind of for old people, aren't they? Like you're just exercising your legs because that's all you
You
can
look like
move.
the Peloton people, you're just, like doing this back and forth. You look like a bird.
It's so distracting. Why do people, oh, well,
It
it's
is.
fine. No, and then I have one of these rising desks, and I thought when I first got it, I thought to myself, "Oh, I'm going to use this all the time. I'm going to stand and kind of stretch and everything." I think I've raised this desk one time. I've had it. I've had it for about 2 years now. No, I
I have
raised it
one
one.
too.
But do you raise it, lower it, or like just to
I
stand and
used to a
stretch?
lot. I don't as much now,
No?
but on the days
I-
where I have all the back-to-back meetings and you're like, man, I gotta move, then I will raise it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You seem to have a lot more motivation to do that than me and Dewey do with our
I'll just sit
text.
here. When my legs start to go to sleep, I'll lift them up just a little bit so that the blood can get back into them.
Yeah, I've been sitting on my foot this whole time, so I'll probably nearly fall over when I get off.
Oh my gosh. Well, okay. So as we're wrapping up here, I would love to ask 1 year of having your book out. Has there been any big surprises for you? Has it gone like you wanted? Just, you know,
It is so much harder than I thought it was going to be.
Yep.
So,
how so?
I mean, I think I work in marketing analytics, so I'm like pretty decent at, looking at marketing campaigns and giving suggestions. I've worked on, analytics for big campaigns, never in e-commerce though, always lead gen, which is different. So finding your marketing messaging, finding where you fit, where you resonate, and then doing it every day.
Yeah, how do you find the time to do that as well? Like when do you do
Oh,
all your videos?
I repeat my content a lot because TikTok's algorithm. That's why I like TikTok. I got on TikTok only for the book. That was like not, that was not somewhere I hung out, but their algorithm shows your content to new people like 99% of the time. So I can repeat my content and it doesn't feel repetitive because the people that are seeing it are new people.
Oh,
All right,
Bill.
where's my notepad to write this down?
Oh, Bill.
But then I have to show my face on there, and I'm not good at that.
You don't. So my best performing content, I do like a quote and I like flip the book behind it and it's like a quote and like a hook. And that performs the best for me. I think it's pretty cool because it's like a snack from your book. And if they like that, then maybe they'll like the whole book.
Okay, let me write that down too. So
it's a matter of actually opening up TikTok.
And you have to be consistent. Like you have to post twice a day, or at least daily. But so like if you're not consistent on there, the algorithm is not nice to you.
I don't know.
I used to work.
But that's the thing though. That's why I make it easy. My content takes me maybe 5 minutes, right? So it's just something I do real quick in the day before I log on and it's done. Yeah, it has to be easy because you have to be consistent.
Well, you do make it look very easy, and I can honestly say I couldn't figure out how to do all that stuff because I am not tech savvy. But yeah, I mean, I find it interesting that you say that you don't have to do as much as it. Like from the outside looking in, it looks like you're making these brand new videos all the time and doing all this stuff. I'm like, where does she find the time to do that? But guess you don't.
No, I keep it simple because, like you said, and even keeping it simple, there's days where I'm like, I'm so exhausted. No, I keep it simple because the more important thing is that you show up every day, and give the algorithm another opportunity to hopefully show you to a new reader. So yeah, keep it simple and just like hooks, emotional quotes, and that's all I do. I mean, people do way cooler stuff. I'm too tired.
Yeah, I'm always amazed by these ones where they're full on videos and they're produced and they're holding their book like,
Yeah.
And they're doing their thing. And I'm thinking, I don't even have the energy to open my phone right now.
I don't think the algorithm even rewards that usually. Like, go look at what's going viral. Half the time it's somebody like taking a quick selfie and it feels very like emotional and connected. Like, I don't know that you get the return on time invested for doing high production content.
Right. That's what I would think, like the more, because I know how long it takes to produce something like that. It's like, I'm going to get like 17 views, maybe, it's, it doesn't make sense. So it's good to hear that. That's some really good advice. But that also means we might have to start exploring TikTok, Bill. Oh, what do you think?
I didn't want to be there either, but it honestly, I'll tell you this. There's a strong correlation between my KU page reads and how well my TikToks did. And I do not see the same thing from any other platform.
Wow. Okay.
I hear from other people that write in the similar genre as like romantasy or romance style, that TikTok is like big for that market.
But there's fantasy guys that are making their business off of there too. Brady Hunsaker, is that how you say his name? That's his main platform, and he's fantasy.
Oh,
Who's
wow.
that?
Brady
I'm sorry.
Hunsaker
Yeah, I think. Yeah.
is his name. He's a bigger fish, I guess you would say, in the indie game. He's been around for a little
But
while.
he shares a lot of his details on threads, and he has said he has multiple TikTok accounts, and one of them drives most of his sales.
Wow. Wow. Well, we might have to investigate the TikTok, though. Yeah.
So, any other plans for this release, pub or birthday for tomorrow? Are you gonna do anything fun with it, or just keep on
No.
keeping?
No, I mean, like I just said, I'm going to post a simple video that is the pub anniversary, and it's a work day and all that, and just working towards releasing the next book. So that's all that I have going on.
Well,
That's
again,
awesome.
congratulations on the 1 year anniversary. It's exciting, and it probably doesn't feel like it just happened maybe like a week ago that you put it out, probably. And
Yeah.
so,
And that's
a
that
new
one.
one's
And then
coming, which is
Parallax
good.
coming out when? May 20th?
May 20th. Yep.
Oh, wow. And it'll be on Amazon and all the and in the description for the video, I do have your website linked, so they can go there as well. I'm assuming to grab
Yep.
all of this. Okay.
Yeah. My website has links to everything. And then Umbra is, on KU and Audible as well. Parallax will have an audiobook later this year.
Oh, so that was one of the questions in the chat was, is it on audio?
Yeah.
Audiobook.
And I
So,
highly recommend the audiobook. I have dual narration, and they did a really good job.
oh wow,
Ooh.
fantastic.
So, for the other two books, are they going to be single word titles as well? Keeping the theme?
They're all single word titles, and they are all astronomical references that capture like the story arc of that book.
Ah.
Very cool. Well, as we're wrapping up, is there any final word you want to say besides get my book?
No, thanks for having me. I think, it's a fun community, and it was fun to get on and chat with you guys.
Yeah.
Well,
absolutely.
thank you for joining us, Amber, and thank you to everyone in the chat. There was some good quotes going on in there. And to anyone that watches replay, again, Dewey said it, go to Amber's website in the description below, in the below side, link and subscribe, all that good malarkey. But get her book. It really is awesome. I had a blast with it, and I am looking forward to Parallax. That book looks so fun. That cover looks so fun. Have to know what happens with the aftermath of book one's cliffhanger, but don't read the epilogue because there is no cliffhanger, supposedly. So looking forward to it. Again, thank you for joining us, Amber, and congratulations tomorrow, pubiversary. And thank you, everyone, for joining us. So we will see you next time on A Smudgeon of Curmudgeon.
All right.
Wave while we
Thank you.
call it out.
Thank you, guys.